Onward is probably my least favorite Pixar film of all time. Maybe even as bad as Cars 2, to be honest. And I would not recommend it. Onward stars voice acting Chris Pratt, Tom Holland, Octavia Spencer, Julia Louis-Dreyfus are the main actors in this film. There's a few other voices that you'll kind of recognize throughout it that pop up here and there for some characters, and it's it's an okay film. For Pixar, the bar is set way up here versus most other animation studios. It's a little bit lower, and if you can kind of fall somewhere in between, you're going to be a decent sized hit with critics and audiences. Onward, for me, has actually seemed to lower the bar that Pixar has set with the vast majority of their films, and really made it kind of their worst film in my opinion. Certainly, I dislike Cars 2 a little bit more than this one. There's a couple other ones I haven't seen, but this is probably the worst one I have seen. It's just very bland, cookie cutter-ish. It's kind of basically like a recycled, plot where you go off, explore the wild, find your adventure, and realize that your life has been better than you thought it was, and you got to have a little self-confidence in yourself. And it kind of uses the same tropes that most Pixar films do, but it doesn't do a good job in terms of certainly putting jokes or situations that's a little bit higher on the scale in terms of adults to be able to watch it and be like, oh, that's pretty good. It's thoroughly a kids Pixar film, and it leaves out some of the humor and things like that made the earlier Pixar movies certainly more enjoyable for older audiences. This one, it starts off with the concept that magic existed, but it has since been forgotten and pushed aside for modern technology and things like that. And your two stars or heroes in the film, Tom Holland's little skinny character, and Chris Pratt's is the older brother of him that's kind of like a muscular-ish, kind of lunk kind of guy who basically plays Dungeons and Dragons all day. And that concept, their father died when they were young, but on Tom Holland's 16th birthday, the mother gives them a gift that their father left them, and it turns out to be like a wizard staff, which the older Chris Pratt character recognizes immediately as being a wizard staff with magic. He tries to use some spells, it doesn't work. They find a spell with the staff that basically will bring back their father for one day. That way he can see what his children or his sons have grown up to be. And you find out that Tom Holland has the ability to use magic in this. He tries to do the spell, but does it incorrectly, so his father's not brought back completely. He's only brought back like from the waist down in this magical, pants that bounce around, taps people with his foot, things like that to communicate. And it's cute-ish premise, but it's one of those ones that it's kind of redundant at this point in Pixar films or in a lot of films, and it just doesn't play well. So they go off on this harebrained adventure to try to find another stone that they need to be able to use to bring their top half of their dad back for the rest of the day that they have with him. That way that they can see him, talk to him. So they go on this course, and you have a couple good voice performances. Julia Dreyfus plays the mother, who's pretty funny, along with Octavia Spencer plays a manticore, and she's basically this mythical, magical beast that's basically been domesticated until the boys show up at her tavern where all quest starts, and then she kind of like goes crazy, burns it down. But by the time the mother gets there, she's realized, she wants to go on this mythical quest. So the mother and then Octavia Spencer's manticore, they go off on their own quest to find the boys who are ahead of them. And it's kind of like this little tag along where they're bouncing through. And, there's the whole butting heads of the two brothers, because the older brother's kind of carefree, happy-go-lucky, and kind of a failure at a lot of things. And that's what people say about him. That's what the younger brother kind of believes about him. But really, his whole life has been kind of taking care of his little brother, doing everything he could to, in essence, replace the father figure that they had lost. And it's one of those ones where some of the moments are really cute, but it just kind of plods along and then eventually races along. And it's only like an hour and a half, but by the time you get to about halfway through it, it then speeds up very quickly. In like the last 24 minutes or so of the film, it almost seems like half of Act 2, if not most of Act 2, and then Act 3, the climax, the resolution, all that all happen together in about 10 minutes or so. And it really is just kind of convoluted at the end and a little bit stale. again, it's probably the first Pixar film that I've seen that I wouldn't actually recommend going and seeing it, and for no other reason other than it's just not one you have to see. It's not one of Pixar's best, and it's not something that you will really enjoy that much. It's, if you want to take the kids or whatever and, have them watch something with some colorful creatures and stuff on the screen and be entertained for about an hour and a half, go for it. But outside of that, it's not a film that you would sit down and watch over and over again. Finding Nemo, WALL-E, the first Cars, any of the Toy Story films, things like that. It's just kind of a fair to middling Pixar outing, and honestly, like I said, it's not one that I would recommend. Other than that, thank you. Feel free to like, subscribe, and share, and have a good day.